This video is all about the GoPro Hero 7 versus the Insta360 One X. So we're gonna put these two cameras head to head to see which one outperforms the other. And we're gonna do this by basically breaking it down into 10 different categories and then seeing which one performs better than the other. The reason that I'm comparing these two cameras is that both of them have major updates. With the GoPro, you obviously have this crazy, super smooth footage. I'm vlogging on the GoPro right now, and you can see anywhere that you go, you get awesome, stable footage. Now, the Insta360 One X also has the ability to get awesome, smooth footage. However, the major improvements with the Insta360 One X is that you can now shoot 5.7K, which gives you a lot more flexibility when you're in a 360 environment to be able to shoot some awesome content and not have it be super low quality. That's always been one of the biggest problems with 360 cameras, is that when you crop into the image, because you're shooting in a spherical format, you're losing a ton of resolution. So a 4K image on a 360 camera actually is very low res when you crop in and get your 16:9 footage out of it. Now with 5.7K, you have a lot more resolution to work with, so the footage is much better. So now I definitely think that both these cameras are great to compare against each other. Both would be used in this adventurous action camera style format. And so let's go through this comparison and figure out which one wins when you put them head to head. And the first test is gonna be stability. And we're gonna use my POV gear pole on both of these cameras. This is an awesome action camera pole. See, it's the mini version, and I can attach both my Insta360 One and my GoPro using this pole, so you guys can get a side-by-side comparison. And we're just gonna do a little trail running and see how smooth each of these cameras are. So in terms of stability, both of these cameras have performed very well. They both get you stable footage. There's a few little minor differences, but that's with the other features. But in terms of just stability, you will get stable footage using both of these cameras. So this one is a tie. They both get a point for this one. So the second category that we're gonna test is the hyperlapse function. So both of these cameras have an awesome hyperlapse function. And so we're just going to turn the camera on, let it roll, and see what the time shift versus time warp looks like. So with the Insta360 One, you actually create your hyperlapse in post. You shoot in 5.7K, and then in post, you go through and do your settings. You make it speed up, slow down, move the camera around, and then you can also add the motion blur, which gives you that really fast feel and smoothness to the hyperlapse on top of, you know, being awesome stabilization. In terms of hyperlapse, the Insta360 One definitely wins in this setting. You can do so much more with the hyperlapse on the Insta360 One X camera because you can reframe in post, and you could also add the motion blur, and overall it's actually smoother when you're working in this setting. So the hyperlapse feature, definitely Insta360 One X. Okay, so next we're gonna talk about audio, and specifically for vlogging, because both these cameras work well for vlogging. Both have an awesome wide lens where you can use it in like a vlogging setting and get a shot without having to use a flip out screen, and you have a smaller camera overall. Okay, so this is just an audio test so you can hear how the audio is through this little tiny hole that's on the camera. There's no way to add audio to the Insta360 One. You basically just have the audio that's on your 360 camera. So this is the audio that you get. no matter what you're shooting, this is how you're gonna hear the audio, and this is what it's gonna be like when you're vlogging. Now, GoPro is definitely gonna take the win on this one because you can basically make a vlogging camera out of the GoPro and you can attach audio, so you can get much cleaner audio than if you were to just use the audio that's in camera. And as a comparison, this is the audio straight from the GoPro without the shotgun mic on top. Now, I do have a housing around my GoPro, so it's gonna sound a little more muffled, but this is the audio that you're gonna get. And it still is better than the Insta360 One, so definitely the GoPro takes the win in this category. If you want to see a video about my entire GoPro vlog setup, I'll put a link down in the description. It goes through all the different pieces you need and how you can make an awesome vlogging camera out of your GoPro. Okay, so the next one that we're gonna go through is selfie stick shooting. And what this category is how does it look when you're using a selfie stick to shoot yourself? A lot of times when you're doing like adventurous things, you're gonna be using a stick to be able to get the camera away from you so you can get a shot of yourself as doing whatever it is that you're doing. So this is an important part of these action cameras. The unique thing about the Insta360 One X in this scenario is that it completely eliminates the pull from the video. So you basically get like this floating camera effect. And you can use the 360 camera because it always keeps the horizon stable to do like jib shots and like drone shots if you get a long enough pull, so you can fake other types of camera movements. So in terms of selfie stick shooting, the Insta360 One X is gonna take it on this because you'll never miss the shot and you can do some pretty cool creative stuff with it. So next, let's talk about workflow. And the workflow is a little bit different with both of these cameras because the Insta360 One X has an additional step when you're creating content with it. So with the GoPro, you can just bring this footage straight into your editing software and start cutting like any other camera. With the Insta360 One X, you actually have to go through your phone and do some manipulating of the 360 environment and then export it out of your phone and then take that footage from your phone, bring it to your computer to be able to use in your bigger projects. So in this video, I had to do the secondary step of editing in my phone. Now, if you're going straight to social media, you can just do the edit in your phone and then actually upload directly to your social media. So the workflow depends on how you're gonna be using the camera. And for this, I think that the GoPro wins in terms of workflow because it's just much easier. It's like any other camera out there, you just bring the footage in and start editing. Whereas with the Insta360 One X, there is that additional step, it takes time. So in terms of working with the footage, if you're gonna be putting it into bigger projects, you have to spend more time working with the footage to be able to get the shots right before you actually start cutting it into the rest of the project. It's a real bummer when you get back to the editing bay and half of the footage just doesn't have audio. I accidentally pulled the cable out just a little bit from the audio connector on the GoPro, and so I don't have any audio for the rest of this day. All right, so we got 5 more categories that we're comparing these two cameras on, and the next one is creativity. And hands down, Insta360 One X gets it for creativity because you have so much creative potential in post. Like I was saying, you could do these really cool shots like a jib, like a drone, or just come up with new ways to kind of morph shots into each other and create a sequence where the camera's kind of continually moving around your subject and things just kind of blend together and move, and you always have a moving shot. Even if the camera is just sitting here, you can continually have a shot that moves around it. So that is the one reason you would get a 360 camera, is to be able to have that creative freedom to play around with the 360 environment and go wherever you want to go. The next category is quality. And this is pretty apparent that the GoPro definitely has a better quality image than the Insta360 One X. Like I said earlier, it's a 4K image versus a 5.7K that you're punching in on. And you're never gonna have the quality of 4K unless you can get your 360 image to much higher resolutions so that when you punch in, you still have the same quality as a 4K image. So for quality, GoPro definitely takes the win. The next category is usability in a professional environment. What I mean by this is using this footage for professional jobs where you're getting paid. So not just like social media content for yourself, but content that you're producing for your client. I think that the Insta360 One X can be used for clients. However, I would always default to using the GoPro because you have more resolution and you also have more ability to color grade in post. Because the quality is not as good on the Insta360 One X, when you punch in and color grade, even though they have a log format, the image is gonna break apart faster than it is on the GoPro. You'll have more flexibility in terms of color grading on the GoPro, and you just can use the footage in more professional settings. You can also sell your GoPro footage as stock. A 4K shot in stock footage will sell anywhere from $100 to $200 per shot, which is pretty incredible. Now that demand is increasing for 360 footage in stock, and there's definitely websites that are accepting 360 stock. However, it's definitely not as popular as GoPro shots. GoPro shots have a wide range of uses, and so in terms of professional usability, the GoPro is gonna take it in this category. Now let's talk about social media creation. So creating content for your Instagram, your YouTube, your Twitter, your Facebook, all places around social media. Both of these cameras have the ability that you can bring the footage back into your phone, edit it, and then upload it directly onto your social media. And that's kind of like the beauty of using these cameras. The software is all integrated into your phone. You don't have to actually bring it into your computer and then go to your phone and upload it to your phone. You can do everything in your phone. So both of these are great tools for social media creation. Now, in terms of editing your footage, the Insta360 One X gives you the ability to crop it however you need to in the software itself. So if you need a 9:16 long horizontal shot, you can just click a button and it will auto frame it to the 9:16. But you can also hit that button again, get a square one, or get a 16:9 image to be used in your YouTube content like this. So the ability to actually use this across platforms and make it very accessible means that the Insta360 One X is gonna win in this category. You can use the footage in a bunch of different ways, and it makes it very easy to go between different social media platforms and reframe for each one of the size requirements. I've seen a lot of people working with the Insta360 One X and they're just bringing it right into their Instagram stories, and it looks really cool using the hyperlapse function and also just doing some cool like stories because the audio is good enough to do Instagram stories. So the last category that I have for you is basically my overall score. So which one that I prefer over the other. And this is a complete toss-up for me because like I've said, the creative potential of the 360 environment makes it so much more usable than the GoPro. When I've been climbing in the past and I've taken like a GoPro and put it on my helmet, the issue is sometimes I miss the shot and I'll be like climbing in these really cool environments and I'll completely miss the actual scene around me. I'll get like my hands on the rock or something that's right in front of me and you can't actually see what's going on behind me or around me, and it's a pretty awesome experience. With a 360 camera, I just hold it up, I hit the button to record, and I don't even think about it. So this has a lot more potential in terms of storytelling and creative freedom, and in really high stress situations where you don't want to be thinking about your camera, this is gonna win because you don't have to think about your shot until later, and you can do some really cool stuff with it later. However, I still like using the GoPro. Like I was saying, I use it for vlogging. I've shot a ton of videos just using the GoPro with the little microphone attachment because it's easy. I can take it with me. I've been using it a lot recently when I've been trail running because it goes in like a small backpack. I don't have to have a big setup. So both cameras have their advantages and both cameras can be used in different settings. So for me, it's a complete toss-up. I think both cameras are great and I'm gonna use both moving forward. Both of these cameras scored a 6, so it's right down the middle. Each camera has their positive and each camera has their negatives. So it really depends on what kind of content that you plan on producing and how much creative flexibility you need in post. So if you're a vlogger, go for the GoPro because it's a great option to do vlogging. However, if you're doing more action sports and you just want to get cool shots, especially for your social media, then the Insta360 One X is the one to go for. So guys, I hope this was helpful in giving you a comparison between the Insta360 One X and the GoPro Hero 7. If you're new here to this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. There's a lot of awesome filmmaking tutorials and camera reviews. I also have the Creator Film School, which is nuts to bolts everything that you need to know to have a career as a creator or a filmmaker. I'll see you on the next one.